that you said. I mean, what I'm hearing so far this morning from traders and from commodity desks, this is an attack on transportation.
There'll be big sell-offs, obviously, probably concentrated in some heavy areas, as Melissa's talking about. Oil stocks are likely to follow the decline in oil prices. Expect to see airlines and hotels take a big hit, maybe a flight to safety into the names of gold, though we'll have to see whether or not the absence of liquidity in the London metals market is going to affect that.
Sure, that's a very good point.
Michelle
Hastings, let's get to, hold on, folks, let's get to Nick Hastings. We haven't talked about currencies here.
The system, the London Underground system and the traveling system in London, so heaven knows what that's going to do for business, but also it's obviously going to undermine tourism, which is, again, a big part of London. So altogether here, people are now saying, well, you know, if the Bank of England wasn't going to cut interest rates today, and if they don't do it today, they're going to have...
A couple of things. With respect to the speculation about the source of the potential terror attack in London, I think it's instructive to go back to Madrid, and even beyond that, to go back to the Oklahoma City bombings, where the initial speculation surrounded on...
Very good point, yes.
Around Arab interests, and then at one juncture along the way, it was believed, with respect to the Madrid train bombings, that it might have been the work of Basque separatists rather necessarily than Al-Qaeda, although Al-Qaeda seemed to have benefited, if you will, from the event because it seemed to alter the course of the Spanish elections and their involvement in the Iraq War. Going back to the Oklahoma City bombings, the police are saying that many people have been injured in these blasts, and as Nick pointed out, they have been spread rather widely across the city of London, closing down the transportation system, including both buses and the underground system, the tube, as they call it, in London, has been shut down. So we are still gathering details as we work. We don't know what the impact will be on the summit today, the agenda of which is well known, aid to poor African nations and also global climate change. Certainly this is going to dramatically alter the tone of those conversations. Once Mr. Blair speaks, we will get a greater sense of how and when the agenda itself might be altered as a consequence of these explosions throughout London.
Ron, hold on a second. We want to bring in Claire Fournier. She's in there. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Well, actually, as the feeling here is that it looks more and more like a coordinated attack, as the London chief of police said this morning. The losses have worsened on the European markets, and actually I was talking to a market participant a couple of minutes ago. He said that's the Madrid syndrome all over again, and actually for example for the CAC, which is losing now 3.5%, it had been losing also 3% on the 11th of March 2004. We are seeing also the FTSE, the DAX losing more than 3%, and obviously sectors that are very sensitive to this sort of news are affected this morning. In the travel sector, for example, Air France, British Airways, Lufthansa, Iberia, all these airlines companies are...
Those people below ground who have been emerging, telling desperate stories of